What if Doctor Doom's entire plan to rule the multiverse started with a war he lost one Marvel never showed us? Because right now, there's a fan theory circulating that connects a hidden battle, a god-tier monster, and Doom's biggest mistake. And it might be exactly how Avengers Doomsday begins. Marvel has a pattern. Before it hands you a villain, it likes to skip the part where that villain became who they are. It happened with Thanos. Before Avengers, Infinity War even started, Thanos had already fought a war we never saw. He attacked the planet Xandar with his armada, wiped out the Nova Corps, and ripped the Power Stone straight out of the wreckage all before the opening scene. Fans didn't get that battle. They got the aftermath. Did Marvel just do the same thing to Doom? Now the same worry is following Doctor Doom into Avengers. Doomsday. The movie is named after him. Robert Downey Jr. is playing him. And yet, going into the film's release this December, there's a real fear that Marvel will introduce him the same way it introduced Thanos, fully formed, fully terrifying, and with no real explanation of how he got there. Here's the thing though. Thunderbolts, released back in 2025, may have already planted the answer. And that's what this theory is built around, using the pieces Marvel has already shown us to reverse engineer where Doctor Doom's real story might begin, and how it collides with one of the most dangerous beings in the MCU, Sentry, and the entity living inside him, the Void. Before we get into it, quick reality check on where things actually stand. The first official Avengers, Doomsday trailer dropped on July 20th, 2026, and it broke Disney's own record, pulling in over 500 million views in 24 hours. The second biggest trailer launch of all time. Then, at San Diego Comic-Con a few days later, Marvel showed fans in the room a second, unreleased trailer that leaned almost entirely on Doom, including a shot of him seated on a throne, and Sue Storm, Vanessa Kirby's character, narrating that Victor Von Doom used to be different, used to be kind. That's confirmed. Everything from here forward is theory. Avengers. Doomsday hits theaters December 18th, 2026, and leads directly into Avengers Secret Wars the following year. So where does the theory say this all begins? Picture the opening minutes of Doomsday. Not a slow build, an ending, a last stand. This theory suggests the film could open mid-collapse during something called an incursion, a concept pulled from the comics where two parallel universes drift so close together that one of them has to be destroyed or both die. In this version of events, an entire timeline is already lost. The X-Men, led by Magneto, are the last ones standing, making their final stand against Doom himself. Think Days of Future Past, but instead of Sentinels hunting mutants, it's Doombots. The X-Men fight hard. Doom lets them believe, for a moment, that they're winning. Then he erases the illusion and the universe with it. That's the theory's version of the cold open. Not an introduction to Doom's power, but to his intent. He's not simply destroying worlds. He's harvesting them, pulling pieces of a dying multiverse into somewhere else entirely. A place under his total control. To understand why, rewind to Thunderbolts. That film ends with a twist Marvel has never pulled before renaming a movie's own team after release. What started as Thunderbolts became, in the final scene, the New Avengers. That's not theory, that's already on screen. And in the post-credits moment, Yelena Belova references a coming crisis in space, which this theory reads as the first hint of an incursion beginning. Here's why that matters. When two universes are about to collide, every hero involved is stuck with one of two impossible choices: erase the other universe to save your own, or let both collide and die together. The New Avengers are not the idealistic old guard. They're a team built out of former assassins, criminals, and people with genuinely shaky morals, the kind of team that, when handed that choice, might actually pull the trigger on erasing another world. What would give them the power to do that? In the comics, an organization called the Illuminati, Marvel's Council of Geniuses, working in the shadows, used something called an antimatter bomb to destroy alternate Earths during a similar crisis. The theory suggests something similar here. Someone, possibly a Loki-connected source, hands the New Avengers a weapon capable of planetary destruction. That single decision is what could set up civil war tensions inside the MCU's next saga, an ideological split between the New Avengers who are results-driven and morally flexible, and Sam Wilson's original Avengers, who are still holding on to the old idealism. And this is where Doom walks onto a stage that's already cracked. He arrives to finish the incursion to destroy this universe, the way he's already destroyed others, right as the two Avengers teams are still fractured from fighting each other. Meanwhile, in a separate thread, Thor is off chasing his own lead on stopping the incursion, one that could route him straight to Loki. Then comes the fight the theory is really built around. Bob the Man, barely holding on to his own powers since Thunderbolts, has no choice left. To protect what's left of his world, he becomes Sentry. And Sentry goes head-to-head with Dr. Doom. Who actually wins? It's a fight that means something beyond the punches. On one side, raw, unstable, god-tier power that even the MCU hasn't fully explained yet. On the other, a calculated genius who fused science and magic into something strong enough to kill gods. The theory's version of this fight doesn't end in a draw. Doom doesn't just beat Sentry, he kills him. And that's the mistake, because nobody has landed a real hit on Dr. Doom in a long time, and the win blinds him to what's coming next. The moment Sentry dies, the monster inside him doesn't die with him. The Void. The darker half of Bob's power, the thing Marvel has already shown us, is nearly impossible to contain, breaks free. And its first move, in this theory, is to drag Dr. Doom into it. This is where the theory gets genuinely interesting, because it flips the entire structure of the movie. Everyone watching assumes Doom is finished. The heroes breathe, and instead, the camera follows Doom alone, inside the Void, face to face, not with a monster, but with himself. Every failure, the pain tied to his mother, his history with Reed Richards, his hatred for a world that never gave him what he wanted, his guilt over every universe he couldn't save. This is where his real motive finally surfaces, because here's the theory's core idea. Maybe Dr. Doom isn't just destroying the multiverse. Maybe he already tried to save it over and over and something always broke, a variable he couldn't control, a world that resisted order. So instead, he decided to stop trying to save a chaotic multiverse and start building a controlled one. One version of reality, one system, no illusion of free will, just perfect order, run by a single ruler, God Emperor Doom. And the twist inside the twist, showing Doom his own past doesn't break him, it hardens him. Even the Void, a being designed to drown people in their worst memories, doesn't expect that. It's watching a man who has already survived that pain once refuse to give up to it a second time, which means the Void, in a strange way, starts losing its grip on him instead of the other way around. From here, the theory offers three possible directions. Doom could tear the Void apart the way Franklin Richards does in the comics, a raw display of his power. He could absorb the Void's power outright, using it to free himself completely. Or the theory's favorite version, he could strike a deal, offer the Void freedom from Bob, its one true weakness, in exchange for letting Doom go. For an entity that spent its whole existence trapped, that offer would be almost impossible to refuse. Doom separates Bob and the Void entirely. In a scene the theory compares directly to Bruce Banner and the Hulk being split apart during Avengers. Doomsday's Beyonder-related sequences. Bob is left powerless. Doom walks away with exactly what he came for. And then the real endgame begins. Doom starts choosing who survives, mostly the new Avengers, plus anyone aligned with his vision, including, in this theory, Doctor Strange. Because this collapsing universe is theorized to be the very last one, its destruction would end the multiverse entirely, and out of its ashes, Doom builds Battleworld. Carrying the Void's stolen power, he travels to the end of time, where he confronts Alioth, and, using power that was never his to begin with, defeats it. He continues on toward Loki's throne, but Loki isn't there. Loki saw this coming. He watched every version of this fight and lost in nearly all of them, except the one where the Avengers team up with the X-Men. So instead of standing his ground, Loki spends his time getting a handful of heroes smuggled into Battleworld itself, planting the exact variables that could one day break Doom's perfect system from the inside. A thread, the theory says, could pay off in the movie's end credits scene. There's even a chance the story teases something bigger, that once the Void leaves Bob's body, he's not powerless at all. He's finally just Sentry, without the darkness attached. So that's the theory. In full, a fan-built bridge between what Thunderbolts already showed us and what Doomsday might be building toward. It's built on real threads Marvel has left dangling. But to be completely clear, none of this is confirmed. It's speculation, stitched together from teasers, trailers, and years of comic history. No, Marvel hasn't skipped Doom's backstory, not yet. This may be exactly how they plan to tell it. Whatever Doomsday actually shows us, one thing's for sure. Marvel spent 5 years building toward Doctor Doom's chair, and December is when we finally find out if he deserves to sit in it. See you in the next one.